This is Fido Friendly Travel Talk. Here's your host, Susan Sims.
Hey everybody, it's Susan Sims with Fido Friendly Travel Talk, brought to you by Animal Radio, where we talk about the travel and lifestyle for you and your furry best friend. My guest today is Dr. Katie Woodley, veterinary advisor for Prospect Pet. Hi, Dr. Woodley, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Susan. Thanks so much for having me here today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So tell us a little bit about your role with Prospect Pet and how you became involved with the brand.
Yeah, so I am one of the veterinary advisors with Prospect Pet, and a little bit of a backstory with me is that I'm a holistic integrative veterinarian and really on a mission to help empower and educate pet parents around the foundations and how to optimize overall health. So I've always been very aware of the supplement side in the pet industry and very aware that there weren't a lot of great quality products. And so when Prospect Pet approached me about this role, I got really excited because they have a clean and conscious promise that actually with all their supplements, they're big into removing and reducing any additional fillers. They also test for any potential harmful or inflammatory ingredients and chemicals like heavy metals, which is not super common in this, like the pet supplement space. And then also too, they're science backed, which is really neat and very transparent about their products. And one of the things that I absolutely love is they keep it super simple for pet parents because lots of pet parents get really easily overwhelmed in this world, right? Where there's so many options and they're like, what do I use? Should I use all of them? And so it's really nice that Prospect Pet makes it very easy for dogs with their hip and joint mobility booster, our skin and coat health booster. And then, of course, we're in the wintertime here. We're actually having a big snowstorm in Colorado right now and using the paw like booster protector. So the balm is a really nice option to help protect the paw pads of our dogs when we're out and about and potentially coming into contact with salts and other chemicals on the roads. And even, I know Susan, big into travel and giving pet parents lots of tips, using that if you're in hotels or other areas where you're not certain of what's been on the ground and protecting your pet's paws.
Yeah, and I have to commend you, and you're on right. You have a lot of wonderful pet health information on your website, thenaturalpetdoctor.com. And for the parents that we want our fur babies to live their best lives. So what are some of the biggest issues facing our pets today?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I see in practice is chronic inflammation. And so this is where I work with a lot of pets that have allergies, osteoarthritis, joint issues. Behavior issues is also a sign of inflammation. Gut health issues is a huge one. I work with a lot of pets with IBD, cancer. So at the root of it, it's all about inflammation and figuring out where did we go wrong in those foundations and how do we actually support them at the foundational level? So that's where bringing in some simple support using tools proactively versus waiting for the symptoms to occur is really important. And I know one of the big things that pet parents say to me all the time when they come to me and their pets already have a health issue is, I wish I knew this information sooner, or I wish I had these tools sooner. And so it's really important to help educate pet parents that, hey, we don't have to wait until symptoms occur. We can actually start simple supplements like omega-3s right from the beginning when we get our new puppy. And that's going to support brain development, support their joints, and hopefully help prevent those diseases and symptoms that we all are kind of like we don't want to experience when our pets are at an older stage.
Yeah, our little dog Honey unfortunately has IVD, and she was misdiagnosed unfortunately in the beginning.
Mm,
So we went through a lot, a lot of
yeah.
pain and trauma for her. Knock on wood, where we're at right now with red light therapy is real interesting. But I
Oh,
was lucky.
fantastic.
Yeah, I was lucky to find a pet rehab place a half an hour from us, and that was amazing. So, knock on wood, but she runs around like a crazy person, and so it's like she's 9. It's like, oh, okay, I guess
Oh,
she's
I love
having a
it.
good day. Yeah. So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I love that you guys have this, like I said, the great information. And for anybody listening, is there anything else you'd like them to know, or the best place to learn more?
Yeah, so this is, I have lots of information at the Natural Pet Doctor, but also too, Prospect Pet does have their own blog at prospectpet.com. And this is also too where keeping things super simple. I already mentioned it can be very overwhelming for pet parents, especially today with all the marketing and being bombarded with like, you need to use this supplement and that supplement. And so keeping it very simple. So essentially, your foundations, what are the main things that are going to provide the most benefit long term and starting those sooner rather than later. So this would be like your skin and coat health booster. It's an omega-3 and it's a wild Alaskan salmon. There's also plant-based terpenes, which help support the immune system, reduce inflammation. So that's a nice thing. It's working on multiple areas of the body to really help support overall health, not just the joints. And then, of course, one of the things we don't want as your dogs get older is osteoarthritis, them, being sore. Like you mentioned, Susan, you want your dog running around and feeling really great and being able to be active up until their last day physically with us on this earth. And so the hip and joint mobility booster, so that's a glucosamine product. And what's really neat with that product is that a lot of pets unfortunately have like food sensitivities nowadays. And so this is not a shellfish-based product. And so a lot of sensitive pets tolerate it really well. So pets with like IBD, where they might have a lot more food sensitivities because of gut inflammation, tolerate these products really well. So that's going to help rebuild the joint health, support healthy cartilage, and also too, there's MSM, which is also a great anti-inflammatory natural component. And the neat thing that I also really like with the Prospect Pet is that we have science around these supplements. So that's a neat thing. We're not just kind of saying, oh, this should work. There's evidence-based medicine behind it. And also the dosing is appropriate. So that's really nice too. A lot of supplements, they say it can do something, but there's not enough of those compounds and the therapeutic things in it to actually give us what we're using. So we're like throwing money out the window, which is not fun. And then, of course, winter times here and also to travel, Susan, so what can we use for travel to keep things simple? Obviously, using those foundational supplements is really important because stress can be a big part of travel, but also to using the Protect Paw Balm is really helpful. And what's neat with that is that it doesn't have a lot of the chemicals and inflammatory ingredients that other paw balms do with the pet industry. And so this, if your pet licks it, our dogs are going to groom themselves. That's natural. And so what's really nice, if they do ingest it, it's 100% safe. And one of the things the ingredient that I love in it that I always talk about with my pet parents and my clients is it has a chamomile butter. I love chamomile because it's very soothing. It's also calming. So it's soothing for the skin. So if you're using it topically, it helps reduce inflammation. It helps support healthy skin. And then just as a side note, obviously it's not the balm, but I love using like chamomile tea. So for pets that are stressed, for gut health issues, it helps calm down that reactive or stressed out pet. And I always have a little joke with my clients of have a cup of chamomile tea with your pet. So it's one of those fun things where we can have, we can enjoy these things with our pets too.
No, that's great. That's so much great information. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much, Susan, for having me.
You're welcome. That's it for Fido Friendly Travel Talk. You have been listening to my guest, Dr. Katie Woodley, veterinary advisor for Prospect Pet. For more information about today's show or just about traveling with Fido, log on to FidoFriendly.com. Until next time, travel safe and leave no dog behind. This is Susan Sims with Fido Friendly Travel Talk.